The woman had just taken a bath in the ocean, but when she came ashore, she suddenly discovered her husband had quietly stripped off his pants, fashioned his belt into a loop, and climbed up a coconut tree like some kind of caveman. Curious about what her husband was up to, the woman made her way through the jungle to investigate. But when she reached the base of the coconut tree, she discovered her husband was up there chatting on the phone with another woman. The woman was instantly blinded by rage. She shouted her husband's name, but the man simply hid his phone and lied, claiming he was trying to pick coconuts. The woman hesitated for a moment, but she chose not to confront her husband on the spot because a bold plan was already forming in her mind. That evening, the woman stared at the phone whose password her husband had changed, then looked over at the yacht in the distance. Love was turning to hatred in her heart. When the man opened his eyes again, he found himself sleeping on the beach. Before he could figure out what had happened, his wife emerged from the other side of the beach. She delivered some bad news. The speedboat they had used to reach the island had been swept away by the waves, and his phone had disappeared along with it. Now they could only wait on the island for rescue. Although the man didn't believe his wife's story, he didn't say much. But when the woman said she was going to look for food, he secretly followed behind her. It turned out the speedboat and phone hadn't disappeared at all, his wife had hidden them. She wanted to trap her husband on this island forever, to make him hers alone. The man couldn't believe what he was seeing, but he didn't expose his wife's deception. When the woman returned to the beach, the man cheerfully drank wine with her. Little did she know that his eyes never left her neck, because he knew the speedboat key was hanging there. Soon, the woman got drunk. While his wife was resting, the man quietly took the key from around her neck. Unfortunately, his movements still woke her up. The woman immediately noticed the key was missing, but when she got up to chase after her husband, she discovered he had already tied vines around her feet. By the time the woman untied the vines and ran to the speedboat, her husband was already trying to abandon her and escape. But rather than trying to stop him, the woman turned around and headed back to the beach. Because she had already tied the speedboat down with rope, her husband wasn't going anywhere. Fortunately, the man wasn't injured, but the woman had completely given up hope. She decided to make her husband pay a terrible price.